Ankh Ujasaneb, life, prosperity, and good health to one and all. Greetings. Queen Reverend Wichi here with Queen of Forces Healing Ministries. Today, I would like to bring you a presentation on a metaphysical or a metaspiritual Advent season. As many of you know, or if you didn't know, you know now that I am a reverend. I am an ordained minister who worked very hard for her ordination. Yes, I did. And today I am very much so in my reverend role with this season of Advent upon us. I'm very grateful to be here, and I wanted to share a presentation on Advent because, for one, over the years I have learned a lot. One thing I learned was that I wasn't as open-minded as I thought. And so in my awakening and my consciousness some years back, I would shun the idea of Christmas, Advent, any of this stuff. And as I began to grow and learn, I realized there's a whole different perspective one can have on these things. So I'll get into my presentation, and I ask that you keep an open heart and mind. This is not a very long one, or it's not intended to be very long, but I'm assuming we will go 20, 30 minutes maybe. We'll see. But I hope it's concise enough to keep your attention. I have notes here, so hopefully I will stay on track. As you will see here, the Advent wreath, the 4 candles, and the white candle in the middle. I will speak about all of this in the next few minutes. So relax, take a breath, and listen. Advent has been seen as an exploration of faith, an inner search of the mind and the heart. And according to many metaphysicians, as well as the liturgical calendar, Advent can be described as hopeful expectation, anticipation for God to come in our hearts and be reborn. There are 4 weeks of Advent celebrated on a Sunday of each week, of course. We know that Sunday is the sun's day. We honor that fire energy, that raw energy. 4 in numerology symbolizes kingship, rulership, power, consistency, discipline, and foundation, amongst other things. In relation to Advent, or what we can call the solstice or Christmas season, Christ is known as the King in many stories. The power of kingship that we have is very evident once we become aware of our divinity. The date of the winter solstice is on the 21st. 2 and 1 add to 3, which can represent the Holy Trinity. Winter energy is about going within the darkness of growth, the darkness of fertility, I like to call it, as we prepare for the sun to come. And in another season, we reap from seeds we have sown in darkness. So during this time where it seems that things are bare and barren, there's glorious activity going on in places that we can't even see with our physical eyes. So it is good for us to look at things from a MetaSpiritual perspective, to receive the gift of divine consciousness, of the light. The cycle that we're celebrating, as represented by the wreath, reminds us of the divine order and balance of the universe. Ma'at. We are reminded that dark times do not triumph, and therefore we should have much hope. So again, those 4 weeks leading up to what we know as Christmas is the time we acknowledge more intently our divinity, or what we call Christ consciousness sometimes. There are themes for each of the 4 weeks. The first week, which is this week, the theme is hope and faith. The second one being peace, the third being joy, and the fourth, love. Some traditions, churches, practices have a couple of different meanings for their candles or different colors, but all the colors and the candles are all symbolic and work together in harmony. As you see here, there are 3 purple candles, 1 pink candle, and 1 white candle. Purple or violet can represent our crown chakra, our spiritual centers. Purple is a royal color alongside blue, and we know that blue and purple, of course, are related, as all colors are, but blue is a part of purple. As we merge colors, we can think about merging our consciousness into oneness. Those parts of us that may seem separated, we can bring them back together during this time. The white candle, again, is a symbol of the Christ consciousness. For some of us woke folk, we can become triggered by some of these terms, such as Christ, Christmas, Jesus, Yeshua, even Xmas. In doing so, I believe we risk missing opportunities for growth, for connection and expansion. It would behoove us to view these things through a MetaSpiritual lens, as I mentioned before, to gain the wisdom and insight we could otherwise miss. Many times we see the word Xmas, and sometimes Christians can become offended when they see the X instead of the word Christ written out. In a unity congregation I was a part of, I learned that the letter that we know as X in the Greek stands for chi, or at least that's the way I'm pronouncing it. It's spelled CHI, which of course is energy, universal energy. And that letter X is the first letter in the Greek word meaning Christ, Christos. So it speaks to divine energy, the Christ light, the light of fire, fire energy. Many cultures and traditions acknowledge and honor this time of year. Nature-based traditions may focus on the winter solstice as it is the light, the sun, the Ra that we are really celebrating here. And for me, that's the basis. The word solstice is broken down is sol, meaning sun, and sistir, meaning to stand, because the sun appears to just stand still and pause at this time. The idea of that wheel that this wreath symbolizes is one that reminds us of cycles and seasons. The wheel of fortune in tarot is symbolized by this wreath, this circle as well. As we come closer to the winter solstice, the return of the light, we are reminded that this is the longest day of the year when the sun pauses. It is the official point in the cycle where we begin to notice under the surface the light slowly creeping back. Many of us consciously don't notice it, but it's happening and subconsciously. We can connect with that. So it is very important for us at this time to consciously connect and go within and reflect. And this cycle is, of course, directly connected to the summer solstice that happens in June, where the sun is at its peak. It's all about connection here. And we can take our power back by understanding the original intentions of many traditions that have been commercialized and exploited today. So instead of allowing myself to be carried away and shunning what I didn't like or thought was blasphemous or non-woke or whatever, however you want to describe it, instead of doing that, instead of getting carried away in that, I began to really see the connections in these things and want to understand more and more about the traditions. And for me, as I mentioned, it's about the summer solstice. And so I can go to different spiritual places or look at something online or hear a church service, and I can understand the MetaSpiritual meaning behind something, get something out of it for myself and my healing, and keep it moving. And so as we open our hearts to really understand the foundations of these traditions and celebrations, again, we can really empower ourselves. Take your power back and learn about the deeper meanings. Instead of shunning completely from it, see, is there something that somebody may have taken out of context? Yeah, there is. What is that? Find that out. And again, take your power back. Understand. Now I'm able to teach my children the meaning of this season in a way that promotes healing and empowerment for them, and definitely deep understanding. And so, yes, there's lights and there's presents and there's all this stuff that's commercialized, but it's up to us how we use the information and what we do with it. So I'm certainly decorating with lights, celebrating the coming of the light, because this is all symbolism. And for so long, so long, we know that there are others that use cycles, seasons, holidays, whatever you call it, and harvest the energy for other intentions. Take your power back, people. Understand the metaspiritual meanings of things and empower yourself. Use that energy to transform your life personally, your family's life, and those around you. Don't get lost in, I don't celebrate Christmas and this and that, and just disconnect from it altogether. There's something deeper going on here, because part of the plan could have been for us to get woke, forget about this stuff, and not use it for our own benefit. That's the conclusion I've come to, and that's why I am intentionally focusing and using this energy the best way I know how to empower myself and my family. Because consciously or unconsciously, these traditions or practices all acknowledge the natural elemental forces of the universe. Once again, it's up to us to take a deeper look to understand and acknowledge what's really happening beneath the surface. This is a wonderful time for subconscious healing, or what we may call shadow work. Again, excellent for reflection, to release what no longer serves us as we prepare for the coming cycle. journaling, and getting readings, especially ancestral readings, are very helpful. Any therapeutic healing activity that you can participate in right now that supports reflection and self-study is so very important in healing. It's all about becoming aware of our own divinity and being willing to shine our light brighter into the world. I have a quote here, and I do not remember who I'm quoting, but it says, "The light of the sun begins a new solar cycle at the winter solstice. The rays shine into the dark and nurture the newborn life there to be cultivated. As this is mirrored in nature as the seeds, and this is mirrored in nature as the seeds are buried in the darkness of the earth to emerge once again with the life-giving rays of the sun." So, again, focus on the light by going in to the darkness. Focus on the light by going in to the darkness within yourself and imagine little sparks of light. And every week as we move closer and closer to the solstice, see that light getting brighter and brighter. Focus on this Christ consciousness candle, this light. See that light growing inside you, helping you release and burn away what doesn't serve you, allowing that earth energy to nurture you, to strengthen you. Connect with nature. Celebrate. Even as the snow falls, if you're in an area that gets snow. Be still and know that you are God. For the first week of Advent, the affirmation is, "With renewed hope, I look for the many ways the good I seek is already mine." With renewed hope, I look for the many ways the good I seek is already mine. Hope and faith. You know, the Bible says faith is the stuff. It's the stuff of things hoped for. Faith is knowing how life works, trusting the cycles of life. Faith is believing in yourself and your strength as a divine being. And it gives you that glimmer of hope to keep going even when you feel like you can't. See that light of faith in the darkness guiding you through every situation, every circumstance in divine consciousness. I light the first candle of Advent from the light of divine consciousness, symbolizing hope and faith. I look for the many ways the good I seek is already mine. I look for the many ways the good I seek is already mine. I have a quote here from Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, a metaphysical Christian denomination, he says, Christ is an idea in divine mind, and highlighted the universality of the Christ, the divine essence that dwells in every human being. Christ is an idea in divine mind. We are the divine mind. We are the idea. And as we come to a close from our celebration of hope and faith during our first week of Advent, I thank you and I affirm many blessings of hope and faith for you as you prepare for the coming week of Advent. We are very grateful and so blessed. As the second week, we focus on peace. Hopefully I can do this live next week on YouTube. We'll see. If not, I will have some sort of post for it. And as we close, we rejoice at the returning of the light. May the force of healing be with you now and always. Ashe. And so it is. Blessed Advent to all.